What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. So as you can tell by the title of today's video, we're going to be talking about something that's a little bit, I guess you could say it's a touchy subject. It's one that I haven't really talked about very much on the channel before, but I definitely think it is a very prevalent, I don't want to say issue, but something that a lot of people deal with, especially after massive weight loss. So today I wanted to talk about my journey of, exercise addiction. Now, disclaimer, I want to make it very clear. I am not trying to diagnose anybody. I am not trying to say that this is what you need to do or you should follow exactly what I did. I want to tell my story of how I, ended up getting what I would call some sort of exercise addiction and how I feel I have overcame it and where I am now. So to start the video off, we kind of have to go back a little bit to before I even started losing weight. So as you guys know, at one point in my life when I was 20 years old, I was 360 pounds. So that was the height of my weight. And obviously at that weight, I was not very active at all. I didn't do any exercise outside of, walking or anything like that. So I was not a very active person. And when I started losing my weight, when I first started losing weight, I actually didn't do any exercise as well. So I was actually the opposite of exercise addiction. When I lost my first, I would say 60 pounds, that was without going to the gym at all, because a lot of it was I was very nervous about stepping foot into a gym. And then on top of that, I didn't have very much money, so I wasn't able to afford a gym membership. So when I first started losing weight, it really was just calories in, calories out, which I think for me was actually kind of a blessing in disguise, because for so long before I had lost this weight, I always believed that exercise was like the most important thing in weight loss. You have to exercise a lot, you have to burn a lot of calories in the gym. And through actually just losing weight by changing my diet, it really switched up how I saw weight loss. I realized that what you're doing in the kitchen, the food that you're eating, is vastly more important than the exercise you're doing in the gym when it comes to just weight loss. So that was actually a really good thing for me. So fast forward a little bit, when I first actually got my gym membership, it was after I had actually started working 2 different jobs. So I had a little bit more money to spend on a gym membership. So I was super excited, started going to the gym. And the first things that I was doing in the gym were, the very basic things that people that are afraid to lift weights do, right? Like I would do the elliptical, I would do the bike, and then I would do the treadmill. That's pretty much where I stuck to. I would look at the people on the weights and I would be like, man, that'd be really cool to do. But I was way too nervous to step foot over there. Now for me, I am a very, I would say, like, addictive person. When I find something that I enjoy, I throw myself into it 100%. It's how I was when I first started playing drums. It's how I was when I first started losing weight, and it's exactly how I was when I started going to the gym. So after I started, doing, just the cardio stuff that I was doing, I was really interested in starting to lift. So I ended up watching actually different YouTubers, watching videos on, what's a chest day, what's a back day, things like that. And I became interested and I really wanted to try lifting weights. So after a while, me and a friend of mine actually started going to the gym and going in the weight section and lifting weights. And I would say, like, from the very start, I really enjoyed it. Now, it was very difficult and it was very awkward for me. I felt like I didn't really belong there. But luckily for me, I was able to have a friend with me and I felt more comfortable with him. So I was able to lift with him. And for the first, good amount of time, we would go to the gym every single day together. His name's Nolan. He is my best friend of all time. We would go to the gym together. I didn't even have a car at this time, so he would drive me. And he was a really big help in getting me into the gym and not just doing cardio stuff, but doing, actual weights. We would lift weights for a while. He would go play basketball. I had no interest in that. And then I would do cardio afterwards. Now, after a while of doing that, I would say a few months, I was actually finally able to get my own car and go to the gym whenever I wanted. And this is where I started to notice that the, workout addiction, gym addiction, exercise addiction was kind of starting to take hold. Now, at the time, I didn't realize it. I just thought that I was being dedicated. But for a good stretch of, I would say, pretty much like a year, I did not miss one single day in the gym. I always went to the gym no matter what. And that, looking back, is kind of crazy. Now, I wasn't going to the gym every day and completely killing myself. There would be days where I would just go in and do cardio. There would be days that I wouldn't go super hard because I knew that you should take rest days. But in my head, I was like, well, if I take a rest day, I'm going to lose out on progress that I could have gotten. So I was always going to the gym every single day. There wasn't a day that I would just completely take off. I was honestly kind of afraid of doing that. Now, this went on for a few months. It's hard for me to remember the exact timeline. I mean, this was years and years and years ago. But this is, that was when I first started struggling with, I would say, exercise addiction or gym addiction. Now, for me, the way that I kind of in my head think of gym addiction is, I think that exercise is something that can absolutely improve the quality of your life. Going to the gym, doing some sort of physical activity can 100% improve the quality of your life. And I believe that if you are going to the gym, if you're doing exercise, if you're doing things to get outside, stuff like that, and you genuinely enjoy it and you feel like it is improving the quality of your life and you like doing those things, there's nothing wrong with going to the gym or working out, 5-6 times a week. I don't think that's an issue. It's when that switch kind of flips in your head where it stops just being something that you enjoy to, improve the quality of your life, but it becomes something that you feel like you have to do to maintain like a certain weight. And now for me, being somebody that's been massively overweight, and I've actually been, I would say, kind of underweight when I did my physique show, there was definitely times where I would do a lot of exercise because I wanted to maintain a certain amount of weight, and I felt that exercise was helping me do that. So the exercise was no longer, I'm doing this because I enjoy this. It was, I need to do this or I'm going to gain a lot of weight, and that is something I don't want to do. Now, again, everyone's going to have a different definition of what, exercise addiction is. This is just mine. This is, how I felt when I felt that I was addicted to exercise versus how I feel now. Now, again, fast forwarding a little, I ended up doing a men's physique show, and during that physique show, obviously you have to do some sort of prep, right? I was cutting a lot of calories, and in my program, there were days that you were not supposed to go to the gym. And this was my first time having a program that was like, you need to take this day off. You need to listen to the program. And that was very difficult for me because up until then, I had been pretty much going to the gym every single day. I really wasn't taking much rest days off. And this was scary, but at the same time, because you're in prep and you are cutting your calories so low, I knew that I wasn't eating that many calories, and I was so depleted that honestly for me, not going to the gym really wasn't that big of an issue because I was so depleted at the time, getting down to 180 pounds, that was the thinnest I had ever been. So I wasn't really too scared about gaining weight. So for me, I was able to take those rest days, and that was my, my first set rest days that I had ever had really since I started going to the gym. So I ended up doing the show. I was really proud of myself, but I was honestly kind of burnt out on just doing bodybuilding style training. Now I continued to go to the gym because I really didn't know any other way to maintain activity, and I did like being active. So I was kind of looking for something to not replace bodybuilding, but something to spice up the training that I was doing. And as a lot of you guys know, that's when I finally found CrossFit and I started incorporating CrossFit training into my routine. Now this video is not an ad to make everybody try CrossFit, but for me, CrossFit was really good because it really switched up the style of training that I was doing, and it stopped being about how I looked versus being about what I could do with my body. And for me, at that time in my life, that was really good for me. That was a really good transition. That was a really good switch. But still, at the time, when I first started doing CrossFit, I was doing a couple CrossFit workouts a week and still incorporating the bodybuilding that I was doing. So again, having both of these styles of training at the same time at the start was a good thing. It was really helpful. I really enjoyed it. But again, just how my personality is, I started really just upping the ante and doing a lot more CrossFit workouts, still doing the same amount of bodybuilding workouts. And before long, after maybe about 2 months of doing CrossFit, I was pretty much doing 2-a-days, at least 5 to 6 days a week right at the start. So when I was doing these 2-a-days, it was definitely a lot less about, burning calories so I can maintain a look by going to the gym so many times, because with CrossFit, there were so many new things that I genuinely liked going to the gym because I was learning so much new stuff every single day. But there was definitely an unhealthy aspect of that. Now, fast forward a little bit, I had been doing CrossFit for maybe about a year, and now this is when I feel like I was able to finally kind of break my relationship with exercise addiction and realizing that I didn't need to be exercising as much as I was. So fast forward a little bit, I ended up going on a trip to the UK about 2 years ago now to visit my friend Craig and Jazz, my friends Craig and Jazz, and I stayed with them for 6 weeks in the UK. And while we were there, Craig actually ended up getting injured a little bit. Now, Craig is somebody that loves CrossFit. He's super into it, so he loves to work out as well. But because he had got injured right when I got there, he wasn't able to train as much. And now at the time, I was pretty much hanging out with him all day, right? So if he wasn't training, I wasn't gonna ditch him and go somewhere that I didn't know and train. So for that trip, for that 6-week period, I was doing maybe 3 to 4 workouts a week. And now that might not sound that crazy, but for me, I remember being like freaked out that I'm not able to train as much. So I was like, and at the time they didn't have a scale or anything, so I wasn't able to weigh myself either. So this whole 6 weeks, I was like, in the back of my head, it would subside a little bit, but in the back of my head, I was always thinking like, I feel like I'm gonna get home and I'm gonna have gained a bunch of weight. Now, again, fast forward after the 6 weeks, I ended up going home. I weighed myself and I was pretty much the same exact weight, if not maybe a little bit less, weighed a little bit less when I got home versus when I left. And I remember just on that trip realizing that it's okay to take rest days. I don't need to be in the gym 3 hours a day and everything's gonna be okay. And for me, that was a huge trip for me, not just because of all the fun that I had, but it helped me realize how much I don't need to be exercising just to maintain a certain look or to burn a certain amount of calories a day. So now if we kind of go to where we are now, it's been about 2 years since that trip, since I had that realization. And you're probably asking yourself, well, I know that you go to the gym a lot still. You know, this office is inside of a gym. I still do 2-a-days. I've done them up until not very long ago. Now that I'm doing the marathon training, it's a little bit different. But I think the reason that I feel like I am over the exercise addiction to how it was when I first started maybe, going to the gym is that I truly just enjoy working out. I truly enjoy challenging myself. And it's not about like, I'm not thinking to myself, I need to do a long workout so I'm burning enough calories so I can eat more, or that so I'm not worried about losing weight or gaining weight. Like for me, fitness is about improving the quality of my life, and that might not even be my physical health. It might even be my mental health. Like right now with the marathon training that I'm doing, obviously there are days that I don't really want to run and I still run, but that's because I have a plan that I need to stick to because I want to do as good in the marathon as I possibly can. It's not about I need to burn extra calories. I need to run 8 miles because that's going to be an hour and a half of running. And wow, think about all the calories I'm burning. No, it's like I'm going to run 8 miles because that's what my plan says and I'm going to stick to the plan. So again, it goes back to what I said earlier in the video is that I think that for me at least, exercise addiction and when I felt like I was addicted to exercise, it was always attached to a calorie number. It was always attached to how many calories am I going to burn doing these workouts. And now I feel like I am at a point where it's more about like, how can I learn, like, what am I going to learn from this workout when it comes to like CrossFit, right? Or I have a plan with the marathon and I want to execute that plan, so I'm going to do these workouts. It really is improving the quality of my life versus how many calories am I burning. So I truly do believe that you can maintain weight loss by, working out. I mean, honestly, it could be 0 times, right? Like if you really hate working out, that's possible. I think that it would make it more difficult just because I think that working out is good for you just in general and in your body and in your mental health. And like one of my favorite sayings that I've said that you guys have heard before, right, is weight loss happens in the kitchen and fitness happens in the gym. And when I truly was able to understand what that meant, I was able to break the chains of that exercise addiction that I felt like I had. Now, I'm sure there are going to be people that are watching this video, they're going to be like, I still think that you're addicted to exercise. And honestly, that's fine. Like anybody can think what they want. I think it's more about how I feel about it and how in control I feel about my workouts and about my life. Because when I felt like I was addicted to exercise, I really felt like I was kind of a slave to that. Now I feel like I use exercise to improve my life or to chase goals, with the marathon and stuff like that. And I truly don't believe that I am addicted anymore. I just see the value in exercise and in working out. And so I chase the value that it brings to me. I hope that the points that I wanted to make have come across clear enough. If anything, I hope that somebody, what I hope somebody gets out of this video is if they watch this and they might be struggling with maybe those thoughts, they're at least able to take a step back and think to themselves, why do I feel like I need to be going to the gym? Why do I feel like I need to be running, to be whatever it might be? And if you're able to say like, no, I truly do believe that I'm just doing this because I enjoy it and it is improving the quality of my life, that's great. But if you are really thinking to yourself, I need to do this to maintain a certain weight or whatever, take a step back and maybe challenge yourself to take 1 day off a week or maybe 2 days off a week, whatever it might be for you, just to get that started. Because I truly do think that you can absolutely burn yourself out And again, my goal is to help people lose weight and keep that weight off for the rest of your life. So if you're doing some sort of exercise routine that you don't see yourself being able to maintain in 5, 10, 15 years, maybe that's not the best thing for you, or maybe it is right now, and maybe you just need to take a couple steps back, take a couple days off a week, and then you'll be able to maintain that style of exercise for a lot longer. But again, those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. If you're somebody that is losing weight right now, or you have lost a lot of weight, what do you think about this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I would love to hear your opinions down in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, look how buff I am. Ugh.
Obey the warning signs, and when there are flashing lights or wigwags, don't attempt to cross until they come to a complete stop.